Hey folks, welcome back to Full Bore Silver. Little weekend update for you. We are just off the lake. I was out there from Texas Silver. Little sun-kissed, little wind-burned, but no worse for the wear. Just a fantastic day, 80 degrees, sunny in Austin. Where else can you wake surf in the middle of the winter with no wetsuit? Just great. Chatted a little bit about the incredible developments last week. Silver, gold, platinum, copper, all-time highs. Silver especially, that's our focus here. 79 breached. So remains to be seen what this upcoming week brings in terms of price discovery, because we really have a decoupling of the Western fake, suppressed, manipulated paper markets and the true physical price discovery of the increasingly relevant Eastern markets that take place mainly out of Shanghai. But you have all of these hyper-industrializing at this crazy rate Eastern countries like China, South Korea, India. The demand is unprecedented for all the commodities, really. We even saw, again, nickel, copper. You're going to see iron ore. You're going to see metals like rhodium, zinc, lead, nickel. They are all taking off. And the thesis is that we are in the beginning of an at least 10-year bull cycle. You know, listening to Andy at Finding Value the other day, he said that we could be in for a silver and precious metal commodity bull cycle for the rest of our lives. This thing has been suppressed for so long, so it kind of brings me to my main point. I saw this fascinating tweet, X post now, from Nostra House of Gold, and he said, so the price of silver was manipulated and suppressed for decades to hide inflation. The conspiracy theorists were right again. But I don't think that fully states the gravity of the suppression and the implication for all of our lives and for our economy, for our country, for generations to come. My take is that the entire civilized world's economy and existence is based off suppressed silver per ounce and suppressed key commodities. Iron, oil, all the metals, all the commodities that we follow. Our focus again is silver, but every modern aspect of life, from energy, technology, travel, medical, industrial, agriculture, it is all sort of priced and based off of that suppressed silver price per ounce, because silver is a key component, as are the other commodities, but silver more so for our focus, in the hyperscaling of all of these different things. Again, tech, travel, communication, medical, industrial. It's all based off this ridiculously low silver price. I mean, we've been as low as $25 an ounce this year, okay? Now we're looking toward breaking into triple-digit silver. What is this going to lead to? What can you expect? I believe it's going to lead to hyperinflation of all of these key aspects of our modern lives. Number one. Number two, these increasingly corrupt and unprepared scavenger Western governments will, to pay for this imbalance and to try to grasp at straws as the silver price becomes untenable for the pricing levels that we enjoy for a lot of these modern conveniences. I think these Western scavenger governments will ramp taxes. The cost of living, just from tax increases alone, is going to go up. I think they're going to start engaging in confiscation. like you saw under FDR in 1933 with the gold confiscation. And what actually you're seeing in the EU right now, there was a really interesting post that in 2024, the revenue that the EU gleaned from penalties and basically confiscating money from U.S. tech companies like Apple, Amazon, OpenAI, X, etc., that surpassed the tax revenue that they gleaned from their largest tech companies like SAP, Spotify, several other tech companies you probably haven't even heard of because they don't innovate in the EU. They don't have the tech innovation that we have. But they're making more money stealing money through fees and fines on U.S. tech companies than they are on tax revenue from their own companies. Just incredible. I think that these scavenger governments will cut benefits, social benefits, which, whether you agree with them or not, is going to create a lot of chaos. And I think they're going to start restricting all of the above. They will start restricting the amount of energy usage. They will restrict what kind of tech that you're able to access. They'll restrict travel. They'll restrict and make more difficult medical care. They will make it more difficult for industry to operate, especially those that don't have politicians in their pockets. They'll make it more difficult on agriculture. You've seen "You'll eat the bugs" from Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum. I'm not eating bugs. I'm eating red meat. That's why I hunt and kill and eat all of my own red meat. But I'm not going to have what I put into the temple restricted by some fat, disgusting, bald German individual that heads the World Economic Forum. But you've seen, the rollout of 15-minute cities in the EU. The restrictions, you see the farmer protests that have gone on in Belgium and France. So I believe the EU is kind of the test case. But I think the really bright minds, the real hitters that controlled things, going back 50, 60, 70 years, sort of saw this. And I'm not talking about, these fake puppet presidents. I'm talking about the guys that really controlled things. So, one of the biggest, baddest of them all was Henry Kissinger. So he really controlled that government back during the Nixon era. He was succeeded by Zbigniew Brzezinski. Both of these guys are foreign individuals, hyper-globalists with fidelity to the European globalists and, the predecessors of the World Economic Forum. But what is interesting is on December 10th, 1974, Henry Kissinger, he called for a security study. It's called the National Security Study Memorandum 200. And, think tanks came together and all these nerds and eggheads and bureaucrats. And basically the findings of this were that increased population of us, the plebeians, would eventually create a commodity scarcity and resource scarcity. And so they set about to try to manage populations. And so this is kind of a tangent to silver markets, but it ties in as well because now these commodity markets and resource markets have gotten away from them. But back, the recommendations of NSSM 200 were doing things like rebranding abortion as family planning, mass contraception, even going so far as to talk about sterilization. It was quickly followed up by the 1974 UN World Population Conference and Plan of Action, which, they mirrored a lot of these sort of same focuses. You might have seen the Matt Damon movie Elysium, where the common people still live on Earth, 500 years from now. And the elites live in this beautiful space station with greenery and living the good life, sipping Veuve and smoking fine cigars while they look down on the people of the denuded earth at that point that's already been scavenged of all the wealth and the resources. But you saw, with the EU, you've seen, and now the US, the rollout of vaccines, 15-minute cities, the cultural infestation of all the trans and homosexual and every Netflix show, every movie, everything like that. You've seen pornography just explode. I mean, is this an organic thing? It's kind of bizarre. Alcohol use in every movie, every TV show. Drug use. I mean, go watch that movie American Made with Tom Cruise about Barry Seal. It's more of a documentary than a movie. But, you had the CIA funding black budgets by literally importing cocaine into this country in the 70s. But I think there was, possibly not just a funding mechanism, but sort of a cultural breakdown mechanism. You've got the Sackler family behind the opioid crisis. They paid a paltry fine in terms of their net worth, and none of them ever faced jail or anything. And that's for killing over 100,000 Americans a year with this opioid crisis that they fomented. So, I think they've tried to avert a commodity run for decades and commodity shortages, but they've lost control. So, a couple of things we've talked about before, it's you've got the silver futures. COMEX silver futures were established in 1971. COMEX gold futures were established in 1974. And actually 12/31/74, if you celebrate that anniversary, 51 years ago, gold COMEX futures. We don't celebrate it here, but there was a FOIA request and a State Department document came out and basically said that the SEC and the government okayed these futures markets through COMEX be established because they thought that it would suppress the price of these critical metals. And so this goes back a long ways, but basically what we're seeing is the decoupling of that. So, and I think it's going to have real implications for our modern lifestyles. So, it gives that much more credence to, the prepping talk that we talk about. And I don't talk about it enough, but, Aaron over at Texas Silver talks about it a bit more. Now, speaking of suppression, quick point, we also talk a lot about platinum on the channel. You've all heard me talk about GSR, which probably SGR is the better term for it, but the above ground GSR is 8-1, meaning the silver reserves above ground are 8 times that of gold. So it should reasonably be priced there, which obviously puts the price of silver per ounce way, way higher. But another one I haven't talked about is the GPR, the gold to platinum ratio. Now, the above ground ratio of reserves for gold to platinum is 26-1. Now, if you price gold at $45.50, our current market price, the platinum price would be $118,300. And platinum mining is going down on a yearly basis because most of it comes out of South Africa, which is a mess, and formerly Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. You've heard about the Zimbabwe dollars. So it's incredibly rare, much more rare than gold, and the price has been suppressed and also it is a critical industrial mineral. Yeah, I think we're seeing the decoupling. There's the real price versus the manipulated price. But then, you look at that, that GPR, 118 grand. Now look at some of the projections on gold from some of the luminaries in the industry. Peter Schiff, what should the real price of gold be? Peter Schiff says 26,000 to 100,000 an ounce. Andy Scheckman, he said anywhere from 10,000 plus up to $142,000 an ounce. Ed Steer, 10K plus. Francis Hunt, 10K plus. Bill Rule, 10K plus. Michael Oliver, 8,500 plus. What's going to happen to platinum if we start to see real price discovery on gold, and then you also start to see real price discovery on platinum? I'm happy that I picked off the U.S. Mint the other day when they mispriced the platinum 1 ounce round. Somebody forgot to update it, got it for under spot. I believe it was Thursday. Recommended it here on the channel. I hope some of you were able to jump on that. But I'd start paying attention to platinum. If you don't want to own any platinum, it's kind of an illiquid market. Look at some of the platinum equities that we've talked about. And you can go back and, I've probably talked about it last 3-4 episodes. But wanted to bring up one last point, which Aaron said really eloquently last night on Texas Silver at Texas Silver 6964. And he said, as silver price explodes now, and shoot, we might see 100 an ounce by the end of the year. I know you're probably going to be a little reluctant to buy in, especially you've been stacking for a while and your dollar cost average is down here and now we're up here. 173% return in a year, baby. But he said you should start focusing on your underpriced preps. Okay, that was a great point. And you really shouldn't even be super transfixed on precious metals until you really have the necessities worked out. And I know he's going to do a series on that, but you're talking about stored food, water filtration, home defense, firearms, ammunition, where you live, your community, your team, your neighbors, like who can you really rely on? Start focusing on that if you haven't really. I mean, going along with the commodities and what's going to happen with these commodities, but it's like, some of this stuff, this is my deer hunting round, 270. I use copper rounds because I don't want a toxic metal in the meat that I eat, so I use the copper. But you've seen copper prices now explode to all-time highs. So what's going to happen to the price of these guys? Bismuth. Again, non-toxic round. I use this for turkey hunting. This is a number 5 bismuth that packs an absolute wallop. I've taken a hog with this number 5 bird round. It knocked him off his feet. And it looked like a Mack truck hit that damn pig. A little more copper, different calibers. But here's your good old 9mm, 147 grain. Yeah, that'll take a pig too. But, lead prices exploding and all of this stuff, they're in the brass shells, brass being an alloy of copper and zinc. We're seeing zinc go up, nickel, rhodium, everything. It's all exploding. So, yeah, just really excited. Give you a little blurb here from Aaron Texas Silver, just a short bit from us out on the lake before. But fantastic day. Get out there, enjoy your family and your friends and your hobbies. And can't wait for these markets to open tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like, subscribe, share. Full Bore Silver. Thanks so much. Hey, Full Bore Silver here, checking in from the lake out here with my boy Aaron from Texas Silver. After an absolutely historic week, breaching 79 per ounce. And this was another thing, stacking the physical silver, it kind of affords you the opportunities to have more of a freewheeling lifestyle where you can pursue your hobbies, hang out with friends, family. Aaron, any comments on the historic week silver has had?
It was unreal. I know I was texting you, blowing up JB's phone, talking about this. I guess the biggest move I had seen was 6% in a day. And what do we have? 10, 11?
10 plus, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, I've been screaming Chicken Little about these metals moving, and I think we're finally going to see where these metals break loose from paper, and the physical price is going to determine the real money, I guess, cost or whatever for these metals.
Yeah, so we're going to get some wake surfing in and have a few more friends showing up, and really it's just going to be a terribly boring time out here as we await futures and metals markets to open tomorrow night. But you know, we're gonna burn some time, have some fun out here. It looks like an 80-degree day. Hopefully get a little more sun here in Austin. But super excited, maybe get some surfing footage. But for now, thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing Full Bore Silver and Texas Silver at Texas Silver 6964. Aaron, he's the OG. He got me into the physical metals. So he's a great friend, very generous, and he's the finest financial advisor in Central Texas. So thank you. We'll talk to you soon.